Welcome, ballers, babes who love box scores, and bench warmers. This is Femme Playbook, the only sports podcast that covers triple doubles and thirst traps. I'm Liv, your host, coach, and unapologetically queer commentator with big opinions and an even bigger crush on Paige Beckers. Guys, hi divas. Today was supposed to be so concise and serious and so well thought and planned out, and then that didn't happen because last week was also supposed to be that way because listen, all my episodes are very planned. I write out all the scripts on paper, but are guiding points, you know. And last week I was supposed to talk about figure skating, that was going to be the whole episode, and I never touched it. And that might happen again, but I have more faith this time. So, don't hold me to it, but this might be a little bit better. So, again, really don't hold me to it. But so for this week, we have Heated Rivalry, which I was going to talk about last week, and again, went on my tangent and never got to it. So, Heated Rivalry for the girls and the gays. Trans rights protests that I wanted to chitty chat about. The Winter Olympics, because they're literally 5 minutes from now. No, actually, you know what I mean. And then the U.S. women's figure skating, because I feel that's been my whole For You page. So I feel I should probably chitty chat about it. But I feel there's just been it's probably the Olympics. I don't know if the Olympics are cursed or something, but I've had so much sports stuff on my feed. So I mean, that's all my feed is anyway, but yeah, and then the PWHL takeover tour is coming up, so in Chicago, but they should just get a team in Chicago, which is, listen, it's probably not gonna happen, because let me actually rant on this for a while, and this is why I never get to what I want to talk about, because I go on tangents. But basically, if you don't live in Chicago or you aren't familiar with Chicago, so in Chicago, we have the United Center, which is where the Blackhawks play, which is literally really close to me. It's a 5-minute drive. And then there's Soldier Field, which we're probably not going to. That's it's probably going to be a venue, but the Bears aren't playing there anymore, because I'll bring that back up. But there is the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, which, yes, that is Chicagoland. That is that's Chicagoland, but it's not Chicago. And so I hate when concerts, for example, the Chicago Wolves, which is the ECHL, I think it's the ECHL. Or maybe the USHL. They play at Allstate, and they're the Chicago Wolves, even though they're in Rosemont. Pisses me off, because I went to Renee Rapp in September, the end of September, and it was in Rosemont. And I've been to Rosemont before I lived in Chicago. So I lived 4.5 hours from Chicago and drove to Rosemont, but I never considered myself in the city. So when I went and saw Renee Rapp, I actually took the L from UIC to Renee, and it took literally an hour and 15 minutes. And even when you get there, you get off the L and then you have to Uber to Allstate. So it's not completely money friendly. You're not going to be able to just take the L the whole way there. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of buses that you could probably take, but I didn't do that. And maybe next time I'm out there, which hopefully soon, I will take a bus after I get off the L, because I don't like taking Ubers. But I think it's so annoying when artists are Chicago tour stop and it's Allstate in Rosemont. And back to my point, I think that's what's killing the PWHL ever having a team here, because as long as they're at Rosemont, you're going to lose your Chicago people, because they have to make that trip all the way. If you have a car, it's a little different. Let me Google Maps to Allstate Arena, because let's see how bad it is. Because when I went, I did not Uber back. Rosemont. So it's a 35-minute drive, but I do not have a vehicle in Chicago. Like most students, I feel like don't have a vehicle in Chicago if you're not commuting. And so you literally take the L, which adds on like 5 years. It about feels like it's the blue line, so it's not like bad, but it's just like grueling. It's not fun. So I think it's killing their, like, for anyone, a 35-minute drive in the city. Ew, like that's a lot. It's killing their fan base and their like revenue at games, because when they had their first takeover tour in Chicago, which was December like 21st, I think, the attendance was one of the worst of this year's takeover tour, and that's what they base like who they're going to give a team to. This year they said they hope to give 4 teams, but like odds are it's going to be 2. And it's definitely not going to be Chicago because no one goes, because it's in Rosemont. It's not in Chicago. I know that there are people like insider people saying that we're going to get a team, but I really like don't trust it. I literally will like not believe you till I see it, because we know that Dallas is going to get a team because it's been absolutely insane. The attendance at the PWHL games, the takeover tour games in Dallas, have been off the hook. And I don't remember where else. I want to say Philly, probably. But again, I don't even know if they had that. So let me look. Takeover tour, PWHL attendance. Okay, so here's the highest. Washington, D.C. with Montreal versus New York was January 18th, recent. 17,000, so they're going to get a team. There you go, boom, there's one. Seattle, Minnesota versus Seattle, 16,000. There you go. They're going to get that. And then they're saying Denver, but I know that Dallas like broke hella record. So it's going to be betting $5 right now. It's going to be Washington, Seattle, Denver, Dallas that get new teams, and they're going to have some whack names like Seattle Torrent, because that was horrible. I'm sorry. I am all for Seattle Torrent, but why does the logo look like toothpaste? Who did that? Who let the intern make the logo and said, you know what? You take your bag. I'm happy for you. So, whatever. But I don't know. I'm just, as long as they're in Rosemont, they're not going to get Chicago people. You might have people come in, like, for a trip, because when I went to a PWHL game, I traveled. Like, it was not, like, easy peasy like it is now. Like, I just take the L. Like, it was like a drive to go to the PWHL game. But that's not most of the people in attendance. Most of the people in attendance are going to be the people that live in that city. Like, Minnesota Frost, you're going to have people from Minneapolis, because that's where their games are. It's just like, it just really makes me angry. But it's literally going to be okay, because what are you going to do, you know? And yeah, it's fine. But I'm hoping to go to the takeover tour, fingers crossed. Something in the works for that. But if that doesn't work out, maybe Chicago will get a PWHL team. We're crossing our fingers, because, please, I just want a PWHL team so bad. But yeah, that's my, and then I said I was going to bring this up. So basically, the Bears are going to, what's it called? It's like Chicagoland. Like, it's on the Metro. They're building a new stadium. Where's it going to be? Tell me where it's supposed to be. Hey. Arlington Heights. So that's like on the Metro. Like, that's like when I go to my roommate's house, like that's like on the Metro. But that's not, like, the traffic's going to be ridiculous. It's like when you go to a Cubs game in Chicago, like, the red line to Addison is going to be packed. Like, you're going to be basically kissing the person next to you. And that's what the Metro is going to be like. And that's what the traffic's going to be like in and out of the city. And, like, of course, it's different when they had it at Soldier Field, because I feel like that's such, like, a central location that you're driving on, like, interstates and not, like, in a town. Like, I don't know. Who am I? Like, what do I know? You know? But they didn't hire me for this, so whatever. But it's also like they're not using taxpayer money to build the stadium, which is cool. But like, why do we need a new stadium? Well, I know that the issue was, why did I say that? Because I know the issues. One of the issues was that they didn't have practice fields that were close to Soldier Field. Like, it was too expensive. I'm pretty sure it was using taxpayer money, which like obviously like we already got my mad hella issues with that. So like, let's not use any more taxpayer money that we don't have to. But yeah. So now, not that I ever have gone to a professional football game because like I don't want to watch football. I don't watch football. If there's one sport I don't watch, it's football. But that sucks for people that live in the city and go to a bunch of like, if they have like season tickets, like now you have to, you see, now I'm doing research. Let's see how far she is. I wish I would have, listen, I'm not supposed to be talking about this stuff because it's not stuff that I had written down, but, Arlington Heights. Oh. 38 minutes out of the city, out of where I am right now, which is like South Loop. Ridiculous, but whatever. If you're not using taxpayer money, I guess you have my consent because I definitely matter in this decision. But as someone who doesn't go to Bears games literally at all, but whatever. I guess I'm just used to the Cubs being like right there. Like I've gone to 2 Cubs games this semester and like, why am I talking about men right now? I've gone to 2 Cubs games this semester and it's like I take the red line to get there and it's like right there. It takes like 25 minutes on the red line. So it feels easy compared to freaking Rosemont, which is like my worst enemy, but everyone puts their Chicago tour dates out there. So let's fix that. Let's change that. But I can't see that happening anytime soon. So whatever. Anyway, back to what I wanted. Not that I wanted to talk. Back to what I'm supposed to be talking about as the script that I spent hours writing out. Broadcasting Beckers, my favorite part. And while I'm like, today, like I'd finished my script and then all this stuff started happening. So we're definitely going to talk about that. But Broadcasting Beckers, okay, so I don't know if she's like living with Nafisa Collier or if she lives like in proximity. That's my guess. So she probably lives really close. But she's been like at their house a lot and like hanging out with Nafisa Collier's daughter, and it's like the cutest thing ever. And when I tell you guys, this is embarrassing. I have read like I read Paige Becker's fanfics. Like if y'all don't understand like the level of addiction, like I read Paige Becker's fanfics on Wattpad and like AO3. Like I'm gonna be honest. And they're always at the end are like, Paige had a kid, by the way. And now like there's actually pictures of her and it's really cute. Easy Fudd, literally, where are you? Speaking of that, we'll just ride right into that. We're getting like fed media content by AZ and Paige right now. Not the 2 of them together because why would they do that? But AZ like hashtagged a bunch of stuff with a video of her and KK. And if you don't know the Paige Becker's, AZ Fudd, KK Arnold like pipeline lore, basically like it's like a big joke to all of us that KK is their like adopted daughter or just their daughter in general. And so since Paige is not at UConn, it's just AZ and KK. And so everyone's like basically like divorced child because Paige is in Dallas. But AZ posted a video of her and KK doing a TikTok dance because that's like all her TikToks are. And she hashtagged it like hashtag child support money, hashtag like it was hilarious. Cause she gets it. Like, I mean, I'm sure like she opens TikTok and this is all she sees is like the crap we're saying. But unfortunately, I feel bad for her. But yeah, I think that's so cute and fun. But I love you, KK. And speaking of AZ Fudd, which I know we're in Broadcasting Beckers, but she just like she falls under this category. Basically, AZ Fudd has a podcast. I know I've talked about it before. Fudd Around and Find Out. Great podcast, by the way. It's just so like low key and chill. Like they have guests, but even when they do have the guests, it's like people she knows, so it's like so chill. And her co-host Ashanti, like I just love their dynamic. I talked about them. Literally, I talked about them last week. I was like, I know I've mentioned them before. I just talked about them last week with the Gabby Williams drama. But love that podcast. She's having Sarah Strong, which if you don't know who Sarah Strong is, she's a UConn player who is like freaking hilarious. Like I love her so much and just a beast. So she's on the podcast next week, and I know that like I don't really care what kind of guest she has on as long as like I just need Paige to be a guest at some point, but she's gonna be on there. So I'm low-key excited about that because I love Sarah Strong. She's so funny and she's like phenom. She's insane. She is like when she's a senior, she's gonna senior, 5th year, whatever she wants to do, when she enters the W, oh my god, she's gonna be freaking lethal. But I love Sarah Strong. Otherwise, with broadcasting Beckers, there was like an unrivaled free throw contest. I don't know if it was like a bet. I don't know how it worked, but whoever won $50,000, and the person that won just so happened to be Paige, which is so funny because that girl is raking in money with these like media deals that she does. But she won, and she said something like, I'm not gonna go buy a pocket watch, like I got plans. And it was like so varied in the comments because some people were like, she's literally a millionaire, like she's loaded, and other people were like, she's gonna do good things with this. And I was on that side of it because like just like knowing Paige's history, like you just know she's gonna do something good. And everyone in the comments was like so pissed off because they were like, you know, what she need this for or whatever. And I had it in the back of my mind. I was like, she's going to donate it to something, but like, what's it going to be? And my guess was like underprivileged kids, like in the basketball realm kind of thing. But like, cause she's literally an icon, she donated the $50,000 to like immigrants in need in Minnesota. Because if you didn't know, Paige Beckers is from Hopkins, Minnesota. And, if you literally are ignorant, you wouldn't know what's happening in Minnesota right now, which is the ice raids in Minnesota, which are literally horrific and disgusting and horrible, and ice needs to be gone. It happened in Chicago. We all saw it firsthand. It was traumatizing, and now it's happening in Minnesota, but like 10 times worse because they tested the waters in Chicago, and now they know what they can do in Minnesota. But Paige donated to immigrants, and oh my gosh, I'm just getting a stream of text messages right now. Sorry. Okay, anyway. Sorry, my roommate's blowing up my phone. But she donated the $50,000 she matched like a donation to immigrants in Minnesota. I think specifically in her hometown in Hopkins. And she's done that a few times, not with like this specific, I was going to try to say specific in particular, this specific cause, but she has like brought a lot of money into Hopkins, which is so cool. And I literally love her. But yeah. And then what else was I going to say about Paige? Because there's always more to say. I just love her so much. It's getting scary at this point, and I can't believe I just confessed to like this is gonna be up on YouTube for the rest of my life. That like I read Paige Becker's fanfics on Wattpad and AO3, which I do. Like honestly, like I'm gonna own up. Like I'm not gonna hide my phone anymore. Like it's okay. It's not like I'm literally like 18-year-old adult. Guys, I'm gonna be 19 when this comes out. I will be 19 because my birthday is the 24th. So, woo. Hashtag shout out me birthday. But for my birthday, I want Paige Beckers, or like a Paige Beckers cardboard cutout that I can bring to like my shows and pretend that she responded to my DMs asking her to be a guest on my podcast. My podcast with like a gajillion views, and like everyone knows about it. But yeah. Okay, anyway, moving on from podcasting Beckers because I need to find something else to talk about. So I spent literally almost 10 minutes talking about her. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. Next. So I wanted to talk about heated rivalry last week, and I went on a tangent. If you listened, you're a real one. If you didn't, go back because it's low-key just as insane and psychotic as this episode's going to be. But I wanted to talk about heated rivalry, never got to it. I didn't even get to my main topic, which I know I brought up earlier. So, and I'm doing the same thing pretty much this episode. But if you haven't like heard or seen heated rivalry, like heard of it even, what rock do you live under? And like, where'd you get it? Because that's insane. Because it's, I mean, like, I know, like, I watched it, so I see it everywhere. That's like all my feed is. But if you don't even know of like its existence or its plot, then like get out my feed. Like get on my podcast. Like listen, but like, what are you doing? Like once you finish this podcast episode, go. I'll give you my HBO. Text me. I'll give you my HBO Max login. Or my sister's. Watch Heated Rivalry. Probably my sister's. But so for those of you weirdos that don't know what Heated Rivalry is, it's a book adapted. I don't know when the book was written. My guess, 2017. That's my guess. Because I feel like that was just like a time for it. But I read the books a few years ago. Like probably a year ago. I read some of the books. I haven't finished all the books. But I think there's 8 books. So basically it's like the NHL universe in books, but it's called the MLH. And like each team has like a different logo and a different name. So it's kind of fun. Like the Boston Bruins are the Boston Raiders, and the Montreal Canadiens are the Montreal Metro, which is so much better than the Montreal Canadiens. Can I say that? Yeah, I can, because it's NHL Center. But it's this whole another universe with all of these hockey players, which basically the NHL in book form, MLH, Major League Hockey, which rings like that just rules off the tongue so much better. Anyway. So it's the first book is called Heated Rivalry, and it's about these 2 players, Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov, and they are rivals in every sense of the word. At the beginning of the series, they meet like a few months before their draft for the MLH or the NHL. And they are both like pitting for number 1 because divas. Yes. So Ilya Rozanov, obviously Russian. The name just like gives that itself. And then Shane Hollander is from Ottawa. I don't know like what part of Canada that's in. I about said Canada. What part of Canada that's in. Whatever. So basically I'm just gonna give you guys, I'm gonna summarize the show for you. So in the draft, Ilya Rozanov ends up going first. Shane Hollander is second. And, like, to know more about their characters, like, Ilya is, like, diva. Like, in all senses of the word, diva brat. Like, he is brood. He is a mean boy. On the surface. Like, if you read the book and you get his inner dialogue, he's really just, like, a sweet little princess. But in all senses of the word, he is a diva and he is a brat. But then there's Shane Hollander, who is, like, how do I describe him? Like, I wish I knew their zodiacs off the top of my head. He's just like a soft little boy. Like, he's just like a little boy. Yeah, he's just like, he's so soft and sensitive. And I know in the book that, actually we'll get to that. So, like, let me write that down. So basically, I don't know when they first hook up. Yeah, plot twist, if you didn't know what the book was about. I don't know when they first, like, hook up. When is it? I think it's their draft night. Or am I crazy? I don't remember. But they start hooking up, and then it just becomes, like, this overly difficult situation between the 2 of them that spans from 2009 to... No, wait. 2008 to 2017 is like over this one 6-episode series, and the episodes are like an hour long. But the really like the thing about that is that in the show, the 3rd episode is about 2 different characters. So the 3rd episode is about Scott and Kip. So Scott Hunter plays for the New York Admirals, or like New York Rangers, aka in the NHL universe. But in the Heated Rivalry universe, he is a hockey player for the New York Admirals. And one morning he goes to this smoothie shop and there's this cute little gay boy and he makes him his smoothie. And Kip is his name. He is like not a hockey player. Like he's applying to be a grad student. That's where he's at in life. And it's just so cute. And their episode is really cute. But the depressing part about their episode is that they break it off because Scott doesn't want to come out. He's not ready to come out. So literally the saddest thing ever. Like you can't even imagine the saddest. So then that episode happens, ends with them being broken up. It actually ends. Kip gets accepted into grad school and he like it's his birthday. Like Scott is watching his birthday from the gay bar that Kip watches all his games at. Like he watches him from the window, which is creepy. Don't do that. But like, yeah, that's what happens. And then where am I at in the storyline? And then that next episode's basically just Shane and Ilya playing tag back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it just becomes really grueling and depressing. That's episode 4. Episode 5, which let me tell you some backstory. Like backstory. Episode 5 got ranked above Breaking Bad for best episode in history to IMDb, which is crazy because Breaking Bad is a masterpiece. Like first episode is a masterpiece. You don't even have to watch the whole show to know it's that good. And sorry, I just got an email. I'm really not locked in. So, yeah, it got best episode in history. Crazy. Because it truly is, like, life-changing episode. In all sense, in every sense. Like, I'm not even being dramatic. Like, you just need to watch the show. I will say it's, like, very smutty, and it's, like, very real. Like, they're holding nothing back. You will see everything. Like, they hold nothing back. But it's great. It's for the girls and the gays. So, yeah. But back to episode 5. Basically, it starts out, Ilya and Shane do, like, the all-star game, and they are, like, it's, like, East versus West, I think, which, like, doesn't normally happen. And so they're on the same team. And so then everyone, like, sees their chemistry. And, like, yes, they are rivals. But at the same time, they play so good together and, like, all this stuff. And it's so beautiful. So that happens. And then it's back to the regular season. And, Ilya and Shane are playing against each other, and someone on Ilya's team, like, checks Shane really hard and knocks him out. And I think he breaks his collarbone, like, gives him a concussion. Like, it's a bad hit. And so he is out of the game. And so at the hospital, and mind you, at this point, we know that they're in love with each other. Like, we are, like, very sure they're in love with each other. Guys, the same person has been calling me. Wow. Anyway, the same person has been calling me from Peoria. So if that's you, shout out. I'm scared. Dude, I don't know what that number is. Anyway, so I'm like so distracted. But he gets injured. We know at this point they're like head over heels in love with each other. Like it's just like after the All-Star, like we just know it. And so Shane's in the hospital. And Ilya comes and visits him, and, like, no one suspects anything because in the media, there are these huge rivals that hate each other. So, he comes in the hospital room. Shane is, like, high on, like, painkillers, basically, in every legal sense. I promise. He's in the hospital. And he comes in, and he's like, Ilya. It's so cute. And then he's like, will you come to my cottage this summer? Because, mind you, they're hockey players, so they're loaded. So Shane has, like, a cottage. And he's like, will you come to my cottage this summer? And Ilya's like, no, what the heck? And then leaves. And then that night, this is where things really get crazy. That night is the, I don't know what they call it in the show, but, like, the Stanley Cup in the show, basically. So the championship. And it's Scott Hunter's team, and Kip is in the audience, and Scott Hunter wins the MLH Cup, the MLH championship. And so Ilya and Shane, like, we get their perspective. Like, they're in different places watching it on TV. And Scott skates with the cup like they normally do, like above their heads. And then he sees Kip in the crowd and he like tells him like, come on, come on. So Kip comes on the ice and like it shifts perspectives from like Ilya watching it on TV to Shane watching it on TV and then to like what's actually happening. And so Scott brings Kip down and like kisses him and it's so perfect. Everything about it is literally perfect. And so then Ilya and Shane are like flabbergasted because this pro hockey player has now like shown that he is gay. And so it kind of gives them like this false hope because they're like, oh, like this could be us, like this could happen. And so Ilya calls Shane and all he says is, I'm coming to the cottage. And if you haven't seen that on TikTok, like seriously, what rock are you under? But he literally goes, I'm coming to the cottage. And then cut to the 6th episode, Scott recognizes Kip at the cup ceremony, and is like, thank you for being the love of my life. And then it's Shane picking up Ilya from the airport because they're going to the cottage. So basically, the 6th episode, guys, I've spent so long explaining this. I'm so sorry. The 6th episode, Ilya and Shane, it's just them at the cottage. Like that's the 6th episode. But at one point, like more than halfway through the episode, what happens? Oh, so they're like, Ilya pushes Shane against the glass and then the camera shifts and you see that Shane's dad is in the house and he's not out to his parents yet. So sad. Horrible. So then Shane's dad like drives away and then Shane's like freaking out because he's like, oh my God, like now my parents know I'm gay or whatever. And so they drive to Shane's parents' house because he's like, they're all on their like little island or whatever because they're like loaded or whatever. And so they drive to his parents' house and then Shane like comes out to his parents and then comes out that like his boyfriend is Ilya Rozanov, which is like crazy to Shane's parents because as far as Shane's parents know, like Shane hates Ilya because they're like rivals and they've been like going toe to toe for so many years. And so then it's just a very cute ending. And I promise there's 8 books. Only a few are about Ilya and Shane, but there's another one coming out called Unrivaled, which I'm so excited for. It's going to be like the book of the century after like what happened with okay, anyway, sorry. I got another email. So basically, we are getting Unrivaled, gonna be insane because of how the show has blown up. But Long Game is the 3rd book, which is about Shane and Ilya. The 2nd is about Scott and Kip, I'm pretty sure. But the 3rd book is about Shane and Ilya. And it's truly it's so good. Long Game is just like so close to my heart. And then Unrivaled's gonna be so good. And the title is so good. And everything about it is just so good. So back to what I like, now that I've explained most of the plot of the show, I want to talk about like the actual like outside of heated rivalry, like the importance of it and that kind of thing. So Hudson Williams, who plays Shane Hollander in the show, mind you, not a big actor before. He was a film student. Not a big actor before the show. Him and Connor Story, who plays Ilya Rozanov, not big actors. They did not have these big roles. Like they had like 2 jobs, you know. And then this show blows up, and overnight they're like these huge celebrities. And Shane Hollander, oh my God, Hudson Williams, on a late night show, a talk show of some sort, said that there have been actual pro athletes that have reached out to him and said like, listen, I am not out, but this show has like given me some like hope into what it would look like if I were to come out. And there have been a few athletes, I don't have names, but there have been a few athletes that have since come out because the show like influenced them to. And I feel like the overall like the way it was received on social media, like so many people were posting pictures of themselves and like high school and colleges athletes and being like, my past self would have felt so loved by this show. And oh, that is so precious. Like, that is so cute. What are you talking about? And it's so important. It's so important. And like, I had a really great we're going to get personal here. I had a really great experience coming out, to my parents, at least to my parents. The rest was shaky, but like when I came out to my parents, it was nothing to be afraid of. Like, they were very supportive. And I just know there are people that aren't accepted by their parents. I was not wholly accepted by my peers, but I was accepted by my parents. And I can't imagine like going home and knowing that your parents don't support you. And I got that. And I'm so lucky to have that, and they still do. And I feel like this show has just given such hope to the community, who either had a really bad coming out, whether that be your parents or your peers, or haven't come out yet and need maybe the push that they've been looking for. I feel like this show is just it's so important. And it's just like entered this cultural zeitgeist, and like now it's out in the world, and like there is that community, there is like people that are like, okay, I may not be a part of this community, but I am an ally. Like, we have all these people coming out and saying all this stuff, and it's just so beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful. And then one of the other things I want to talk about is like Shane, the guy who plays Shane. So Hudson Williams has a girlfriend, I believe, but Connor Story has said, I don't choose to say anything about my sexuality. And the one thing that like this reminded me of, and I've had this conversation with multiple people, is Connor Story's situation reminds me of Kit Connor. So Kit Connor was in Heartstopper, which is a popular show about two gay boys in high school. And Kit Connor, the actor, was basically forced to come out over speculation. He tweeted at some point like, congrats, you forced an 18-year-old to come out, I'm bisexual, because at that point he was literally 18 years old when social media basically forced him to come out. Like, the pressure was too much, so he just came out because people accused him of queer baiting. And so he felt like he had to say that he was bisexual, because he is, but he was forced to come out at 18. That is horrific. So a similar thing is happening to Connor Story. And yes, Connor Story is in his 20s. He's not an 18-year-old, a fresh 18-year-old. But that doesn't change anything. And so when I see people literally repeating history with Kit Connor to Connor Story, it's devastating, because like, he stepped away for a while because of that, like, from social media. I mean, who wouldn't? That's traumatizing. And Connor Story like just came into fame. Hudson Williams just came into fame, and now we're pressuring them. So Connor Story has said on multiple occasions, like, do not speculate anything about my sexuality. And honestly, mad kudos and mad respect, because he's standing his ground. So we love him. We love that diva. One thing about Hudson Williams is he is literally Renee Rapp when it comes to like the in the sense of media training. Like, the media training might have happened, but does he listen? No, I don't think he does. And I've seen a lot of people say like he is media trained because he doesn't out his people he works with. He doesn't say anything he shouldn't. Like, but like in a sense of like he doesn't say anything he shouldn't. Like, he says some like pretty audacious things. Like, there are a few interviews of him where he's just like overly freaked out. Like, if you are on Wattpad or AO3, like, some of the heated rivalry like content is like absolutely vile. And we know you're seeing it, Hudson Williams. We know you're seeing it. And he'll be like, bring it on. You guys are not freaky enough. Like, boy, calm down. Calm down. But we know he won't. He won't step down. And one thing about Hudson Williams is in the third book, he is supposed to have, Shane Hollander is supposed to have a man bun. And if that happens, I don't know if I can watch the show. And I'm pretty sure Hudson Williams has said he will not be coming back for season 2 if Ro has a man bun. And honestly, I don't blame him, because I can't see it looking good. I can't see it not looking like Hunter off of Jenny and Georgia. Like, Happy Friday. That one, that guy. He would look like, the man bun like would probably look like that. That's like the vibe I'm getting. And that's terrifying. And we don't want that. So Hudson Williams, like, we appreciate you for standing up for what the fans want, because man buns are out. Man buns were probably in when this book was written, but they are no longer in. They aren't. Sorry. There's no such thing as a good man bun. If you have one, I'm sorry. That's your hair. You know, my hair looks whack sometimes too, but at least I don't have a man bun. So I said what I will about a man bun. But another thing that makes, because I have a lot of bullet points about this TV show. Another point that really angered me was that the NHL, for whatever reason, feels like, since this is about men playing hockey, that they can use this series as marketing and to get that audience watching like NHL, whatever. What makes me so angry about that is, yes, the NHL has Pride Nights. They have all this stuff. But they don't condemn players who are outwardly homophobic and transphobic. So no, I don't want you taking Heated Rivalry and using it as a marketing scheme, because the show is not for you. The show is not for you. The show is for the gays and the girls, the gays and the allies. Like, don't play games in my face. I know that the Ottawa Senators are literally selling Rosenoff and Hollander jerseys, and I don't like it. I don't like that they're marketing off of it. I don't. I want, like let the PWHL have it. Yes, it's about men's hockey. I understand that. But more than a majority of NHL players are conservative and homophobic and racist and transphobic and just overall not good. So I'm tired of them using it. I'm tired of them, like, okay, yes, let's strip the voices of the LGBTQ community, but hey, we're going to take your show and use it as marketing because for some reason they think they need the money. Use something else. Goodbye. Like, stop. So that's what I have to say about that. And then another thing is I feel like so many people don't watch this show because of the intimacy scenes, which, like, yes, like, that's not everyone's favorite, but I feel like this show is so important to watch that, like, even if you have to skip that, like, this show is so important. It's so important to the community. It's so important for allies, for people who want to be supportive. I would have no problem if this show got more and more popular. Like, I need everyone to watch this show. And if my summary didn't make you want to watch it, then I don't know, like, what to do at that point. Because, listen, I've forced many people in my life to watch this show, including all of my roommates and my roommate's boyfriend, and they're obsessed with it. They're freaking obsessed. We watched the episode 6. We watched the cottage episode, and they were in shambles. You know, like, make your mom watch it, make your dad watch it, make your siblings watch it. Like, me and my sister are obsessed with this show. We talk about it non-freaking stop. We were just texting about it, actually. I don't know. Like, hype it up, bruh. Hype it up. So that's enough about that. Because I've been on that for 20 minutes now. So the next thing I want to talk about is actually super important and has needed to be said on this podcast. And I know I've brought it up before, but, like, it's time to shine. Guys, I fear we won't get to my main topic today. We'll see. That'd be hilarious. But anyway, so recently, there's been these trans rights protests I don't know if they're in D.C. I don't know where they are. In Washington, D.C. specifically. But basically, it's these people protesting transgender people's rights to be in their respective sport, which is, like, example, Leah Thomas, who was scrutinized and got her trophies taken away from her because of Riley Gaines. And now Leah Thomas doesn't have any titles because Riley Gaines is evil. And so it's these people who proclaim that they are fighting for women's sports because they need to get transgender people out of women's sports as if they are not women themselves. And so Coach Jackie, and if you don't know who Coach Jackie is, I highly, 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 highly recommend going to Coach Jackie's page, because I feel like she posts a lot of, like, very helpful content and is a very short form version of this podcast. Like, she's gonna get to the point. She's gonna get concise and down to the point. But Coach Jackie posted a TikTok, and she actually went to these protests and went to the side that was in, I'm doing air quotes, supporting women's sports. And she'd go up to these people and say, hey, can you name 5 female athletes, professional female athletes? And literally silence. Like, the first guy, like, got aggressive because, of course, he did. He was like, that's not what matters. Like, I'm out here protecting my daughter. Your sign says support women's sports. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you can't name 5 female athletes? I'm so tired of the excuses. And how freaking hard is it to learn about some female athletes? Seriously, they are game changers. They're changing everything. And we can't learn about them because of course. She went up to a couple of people I know. Some people said the Williams sisters don't even know their first names, and one of them is retired. I think Coach Jackie said Serena's retired. Venus is still playing, but Serena's retired. And you couldn't even say their first names. You didn't even know their first names. And then I'm almost positive someone said Caitlin Clark. That was a moment of silence. Thank you. We're gonna move on from that. But it's so infuriating to me. Like, you were holding up a sign that says protect women's sports, and you can't name 5 female athletes. Get that in your head. Listen, you don't got to be as insane as I am, which is like I devote all my time to women's sports because that's my passion. But to just learn, to just know some names is so important, and it's just important and it's deserved. Like, women are just as much pro athletes as men. And, you know, if someone walked up and said, name 5 male athletes, all those people holding signs would have done it in 2 seconds because that's just the world we live in. But if someone would have came up with that mic, I would have named the whole entire PWHL roster, current and retired. You know, like, listen, like, I don't play games. But that was really upsetting to me. It's like when a man walks up to you and it's like, name 5 songs. Like, no, you name 5 songs. Like you're wearing a band t-shirt. The best thing about that is when it happens and you actually, like, know the artist well. But, like, even if I was wearing a shirt of a band that I didn't, like, know well, okay. And get out my face. Like, whatever. Name 5 songs. No. Like, stop. Name 5 female athletes. Like, literally. So, yeah. What else do I want to say about that? Oh, fun fact about this ties in heated rivalry and the trans rights protests. So, Harrison Brown, who is a retired hockey player, played in the National Women's Hockey League, which is no longer a thing because... So, let me explain this to you. I'm going to keep it really short because I don't really know that much about this, but... there were at one point in like the 2010s 3 female hockey leagues, and you had to choose which one you play on. And even though there were 3, there was literally 0 marketing and 0 money being made, pretty much, for the players. So that no one knew about it. I barely knew about it until the PWHL existed. So basically, a bunch of people banded together and was like, let's make this one super awesome cool league. And then we won't have any issues anymore. So they created the PWHL. But Harrison Brown played hockey when it was the National Women's Hockey League. So Harrison Brown was the first out trans hockey player. And he played in that league for a little bit longer before he retired. And so recently he came out with a short film called Pink Light, which was about his experience in the Women's Hockey League after coming out. And he actually had Carly Jackson, which is a goalie for the Seattle Torrent in the PWHL. He had Carly, or CJ Jackson, Uncle Siege, come on to his short film, and they played a young Harrison Brown. And it was beautiful and perfect because not only do CJ and Harrison Brown low-key look similar, like, it was... I feel like really important for CJ because CJ has like outwardly talked about their experience with gender and being the first non-binary PWHL player. So super cool. I have not seen the short film because they're still playing it at like film festivals and being super niche about it. But The trailer is amazing. It takes CJ plays Harrison in his college days before he transitions. And then I know that Harrison is like playing and hits his head on the ground, and it like reminds him of like this gender dysphoria that he had in college. And or he calls it the pink light. And it's the trailer itself was beautiful. And I really hope that it is available. I will buy it. Like I will pay to watch it. I hope it's available at some point, just because not only am I a big CJ fan, big Harrison Brown fan for all that he's done. He's written books, and he made a cameo and he did Rivalry. He was on Ilya Rozanoff's team. So super important, very cool of the casting directors to have Harrison be a part of that show, because that's so cool. And like, so many people probably watched it and didn't think a single thing of it. But like, when my roommates were watching, I was like, that was the first out trans player in the National Women's League. Like, he is a freaking pioneer for LGBTQ hockey players. Like, it was just so cool to me that they gave him that cameo. And I know he showed up multiple times. He had speaking parts. So cool. So cool. And I was so happy when I saw that. And I was also just like happy I knew that piece of information, so that when I did see it, it was such like a magical moment. And the reason I know about it is because CJ went on Zoe Boyd's podcast, which I've talked about, No Straight Answers. Love her podcast. CJ came on Zoe's podcast and talked about Pink Light, because that was like kind of like at the time that the Pink Light was coming out and had been filmed and whatever. So yeah, really really important figure in women's sports and the LGBTQ community, and LGBTQ hockey players, anyone in sports, all of that is just important. So I'm barely even gonna touch on what I was supposed to talk about this whole episode, which was figure skating. But basically what I want to talk about, though, is the Winter Olympics, because they're in February, and we love the Winter Olympics. I'm all about gymnastics. I'm all about softball, which is going to be in the Olympics, the Summer Olympics. But I'm all about it. I am. But I do love me some winter sports. And I just wanted to take a sec, because I feel like not enough people watch like the full extent of the Winter Olympics, which, listen, I don't watch all of the Summer Olympics sports, but I try to expose myself to the Winter Olympics. So I just wanted to like talk about some of the sports, because some of them are really freaking interesting. And if you don't know what they are, then like I'm going to explain them to you. So there are so many freaking sports. Let me run you through the list. Alpine skiing, biathlon, bobsleigh, cross-country skiing, curling, figure skating, ice hockey, luge, ski jumping, snowboarding, and speed skating. So, if you don't know what all of the alpine skiing, that is pretty self-explanatory. That is like, they're doing the professional ski resort. It's professional ski resort, pretty much. They're going through the trees and stuff. And then biathlon, which was one I didn't know. This is crazy. It's cross-country skiing combined with rifle shooting. Is that not freaking crazy? So literally, that's crazy. So I've watched some videos, and if you haven't watched biathlon happen, watch it, because it's crazy. How did they even come up with this combo? I guess it could be like a hunting thing, like a very like primal hunting thing, but interesting. So then bobsleigh is, they go in these little like super quick little sled thingies and they go down this long trail of just straight ice, and it's terrifying. They look like they're gonna hit their heads head on. That's bobsleighing. Cross country skiing is long distance skiing. Curling is the thing with the Swiffer and the little bowling ball thingy. I don't really understand it, but it is really freaking cool. And I watched a video explaining like how the scrubbing works with like the scrubber thingy, how that like slows down the big bowling ball thing. Guys, I sound really bad right now. I sound really unprepared, but it's really cool. It's really cool how it works. So, we love to see it. one I also didn't know, because this is why I had to explain bobsledding. Luge, didn't know what that was a thing. So it's like bobsledding, but they're on these like metal track things, and they lay on their backs with their like feet first and go down these like little track thingies, like the ice tracks that I had brought up earlier. What? Like what? So cool. I love to see it. But that's all the ones that I didn't know. The biathlon and the luge. If you haven't watched a video of the biathlon, please like pause this video, look it up, and then come back and like laugh with me, because it's like crazy. Who combined that? It's got to be like a hunting thing, like a hunter-gatherer thing. But yeah. The one I'm going to talk about right now is ice hockey, because of course. So the controversy is that when they started like building the rink for a very prominent, well-known sport in the Olympics, they built the rink the wrong size. So they literally had to restart. They had to restart what they were doing. So now I don't think they said the rink's going to be done, I think 2 days before the freaking Olympics. I don't even, like, as words are coming out of my mouth right now, they have not finished said rink yet, which is bad. That's bad. Like, that's your job. Whatever. Literally whatever. So, yeah. Listen, ice hockey, especially women's ice hockey, has always been controversial in the Winter Olympics. One thing that I want to bring up, and I'll probably touch on it more next week, but I've talked about this before, the 2017 women's ice hockey walkout led by Hillary Knight. They walked out because they weren't getting paid enough, and you know what? Diva. No, diva is the yeah. And then I'll talk about that more next year, because there's like so much to it. And then Hillary Knight, this is her last year in the Olympics, but granted, she's been Captain America for my whole life. Like, she's always been there. I think her first Olympics was like 2010, 2008, and I was born in 2007. So she's been here. If there's one thing Hillary Knight's been, it's been here. So it's probably 2010, 2012. But still, I was a baby. So yeah, Diva's always been here, and I love her for it. But forward Femme forecast, I'm gonna talk about figure skating. Because listen, I know y'all don't know. If you don't figure skate, I know y'all don't know how the rules work. So I have really just learned it. Thanks to YouTube, I learned how figure skating works, and you know, I'm gonna explain it to y'all. And then I want to talk about Amber Glenn and Alyssa Liu, because they're like being revolutionary and awesome sauce right now, and they're so important for mental health advocacy and all those important things. So basically, y'all, that's all I got to say. So stay sweaty, stay sapphic, and stay batty on and off the court. I'll catch you next time. Same vibe, same mic, same energy. Bye.